What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ty, and today in this video, we're going to be talking about the Loki Season 2 premiere that dropped last night at 9 o'clock. Thank God they're not doing that 3 a.m. release anymore, at least on the East Coast of the United States. That was really annoying. Got my Loki t-shirt on here. I'm ready to go. But guys, before we get into talking about this episode really quick, this is actually a special video for me. This is my 50th video. Yup, you heard me right. The big 50. So yeah, I mean, my first review was of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was my first ever video, and ever since then, the longest gap that I've gone without making a video has been 3 days. So I'm putting out a video once every 4 days or earlier, and I've been really consistent with that, and I'm super proud of myself, if I'm going to be honest, because it just takes a lot of work. But of course, the gratitude has to go to you guys that are watching these videos. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I don't want to hold you here too long just talking about the channel, but you know, it is a big milestone and I'm really proud of it. So thank you guys for supporting. Damn, that almost makes me a little bit emotional because it's been a lot of work. All right, but let's talk about Loki Season 2's first episode. So Loki Season 2 is going to be the first time that we're getting a second season to an MCU TV show. And I've got to say, I was a little bit skeptical because of what the MCU has done recently. And, you know, at this point, we're over 2 years removed from that first season, where also we have a new director, Kate Herron, or Heron, not sure to say her name, who did a great job with the first season, is no longer with the team for the second season. So we've got a new director in here. We've got a new creative team possibly. And yeah, I was a little bit, you know, kind of just on the fence about whether to be even excited about this. But I've got to say, this first episode was definitely solid and was definitely what I expected. First of all, we pick up right after where season 1 left off, which I think was a smart decision because I feel like the whole premise of Loki has always been that, you know, we're racing against time. It's chaotic. We don't have a second to like sit around and just do nothing. No, we need to keep taking action. And I'm just talking about from the perspectives like of our main characters. There's not like really a lot of downtime. So I think that it makes sense that you're kind of capturing that chaotic energy and throwing it right into this first episode. I feel like the energy that this first episode has could almost be related to like the same energy that another random TV show would have in its finale, because it's just super upbeat. It's super, we're all over the place. We're running here, we're running there. And I did like that about it because it kind of wakes you up and it reminds you of like, damn, I haven't seen Loki in like 2 years, at least, you know, if you haven't rewatched the season. And now like it feels good to be back. Getting into our characters here and our plot, I guess you could say, I kind of like that. First of all, Loki's kind of confused with what's going on, and we're kind of just as confused as him. Well, I guess you could say Loki kind of does know what's going on. Everybody else has no idea, and he's trying to like explain to everyone what the hell is going on, like with Kang and how the timeline's branching. Nobody knows what's going on. The fact that Loki keeps going, you know, to the past and the future, and the way that he's able to like use that to his advantage, especially in one scene with Obi, is really cool. I thought that was really unique, and the time slipping premise is pretty sick. From a plot standpoint, like I said, we're only one episode in, but I did like how this episode obviously just laid the groundwork for the rest of the season. I don't want to say you could really see where we're going, because I think maybe after the next episode we'll kind of have a very clear direction, but right now it's still a little bit up in the air. But I like how this episode just did have like its own goal. Like it was almost like a self-centered story where like, this is what we need to do in this episode. Here's how we're going to do it. And then at the end, it's like, okay, we did it. You know, how Loki's time slipping and they're trying to just fix that. I really liked that. Obi was such a standout for me. Obviously, I love the banter between Loki and Mobius, but just to add a third leg in there, like a triangle of like Loki bouncing off Mobius, Mobius bouncing off Obi, Obi bouncing off Loki. I just thought it was great. Their chemistry was amazing. Ke-Huy Quan, sorry if I butchered his name, was awesome in this. It feels like Obi was like written for him to be the character. It feels like he's just being himself. He has like that charm. He has like that, I don't want to say cute little voice, but honestly, that's just like, I feel like what he tries to get off, where he just has this kind of charisma and he's kind of like quirky, which is a word I'd usually use negatively, but it really fits him. Hopefully we get to see him like more throughout the season. I don't know if this was like a one-off kind of cameo, if you want to say that, but yeah, I do think that, like I said, this season was off to a pretty hot start. I've got to talk about the shots in this. I mean, there is some use of like shaky cam where characters are running and it kind of is like you're like right in their face. Also, there's like some panning shots, which I thought were done really nicely. And I've got to say, I think that really adds to the show. And that's the type of thing that you want to see where, yeah, we want to follow the same formula as season 1, but you want like a little bit of new things in there. So if we're going to get the director change, obviously that change is going to come with it within the show because they probably have a slightly different creative vision. So I do like that they implemented their own little, touch on this. It doesn't feel super formulaic like I was saying. If I had to give some negatives, honestly, this isn't something I'd normally talk about in like a movie or TV show, but I think that honestly, the editing was a little bit off. I'm not exactly like a movie editor, but sometimes there were just these like cuts and the way that these nice shots were put together that just were not pleasing to the eye. They weren't super fluid. Other times there was some really great editing, but there was just some scenes, especially like with Obi, where I feel like they're just cutting to him at weird, awkward times, and they're just like showing characters when they shouldn't be. I know that sounds a little bit odd, but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of was weird. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about, because like I said, I'm not an editor. I can't really describe it, but just it wasn't super like fluid. One other con that I'd say is that I feel like I was kind of saying before, where we'll probably see where we're going, I feel like I still don't really know what's going on with where this season's headed. What's our goal here? I feel like usually that is something that you should kind of establish in the first episode, especially since we only have like 6 episodes. It's not like we could just go on for like, 12 or something like that, or even just 10. But yeah, I mean, it just feels a little bit unfocused and a little bit confusing. Also, sorry, I'm kind of just going off each thing here. I do feel like the actual plot of our like self-centered story here with Loki's time slipping was cool, but I was a little bit confused with what was going on with like how they were going to stop the time slipping from happening and like the whole process. I do think Loki's like use of going into the past to talk to Obi and like put information in his head so that when they met him in the present, he'd know what to do. That was really cool to me. I love when time travel is used like that. But at other times, like when they're actually talking about what they were trying to do, it was just a little bit unfocused for me personally, at least. And then, of course, I've got to talk about the one glaring problem that I had, honestly. It's not necessarily a problem. I think I kind of worded that poorly, but every MCU show has had a great first episode, but the problem has never really been with that first episode. It's been with the middle and the ending where they start to really fall apart. So I'm just hoping that this could stick the landing. I feel like time and time again, it never does. So I'm just trying to temper my expectations because, yeah, of course, when you're getting a fresh MCU show, I know that this is season 2, but still, it's been a while, like I said. It is like exciting, and that first episode could be really good. But as we get used to it week after week, I feel like if the story isn't there, if the plot points just don't really make sense or really feel important, like the stakes are really that high, even though obviously they're gonna be probably for the rest of the season, I just feel like things can get weird here. So I hope that we just have a clear goal that we're trying to go after this season and things aren't all over the place with either stupid subplots or, things like that. So yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm still not super excited for the rest of the season. I just want to keep calm expectations, but at the same time, this was a pretty good first episode. But guys, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.